How's everybody doing? Thanks for coming out today. Had good practice. Got some good work in. Real pleased. It was nice. We had our captains vote the other night, 2 nights ago. And, of course, Marquis Spruill, Mackie McPherson, Jason Bromley, and Jerome Smith were all elected captain by their teammates. So real proud of those guys. They've done a nice job. You know, from the first time that, we got to work together in the wintertime until all the way up till today, I'm real pleased with those guys. And I was pleased that the players saw it the same way as we did as coaches, because we had the coaches vote as well, and they were right on with us, so that's good. But good practice today, good work day. It was good to get a little bit of humidity out there and heat, which I think we need. But was real pleased with practice, and with that, any questions you might have?
What would have happened, Scott? Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What would have happened? I'm good. How are you?
Thanks.
What would have happened if there was, non-cross pollination there? I wonder if you had.
Well, then we go with the guys and kids elect as captains, and we appreciate that they know something we don't know, maybe.
Dan.
Sorry, Dan.
No, it's okay. Looking at the quarterback situation right now, have you seen any separation? Do you feel like you're getting closer to maybe making that decision?
Yeah, I do. I think both kids, both Terrell and Drew are doing a real good job. But yeah, I'm feeling good about where we're headed. We want to keep it in-house and just kind of do a good job, getting the repetitions. We don't have to play to the 31st, so the final decision won't truly be made until we step on that field. Now, with that being said, we're going to try to do a good job working the reps in practice to where, we're working on guys' strengths and weaknesses. Some, not just the two of them, but some of the freshmen, their strengths, their weaknesses, and we want to play to their strengths and not ask kids to do something that they don't do well. But not a lot of major separation. Both kids have done some good things, and we're just looking forward to continuing forward as we work through this week. It's a big week.
Mark.
A few days left at training camp, Scott. What's kind of the most important things on your mind right now to get done in the next couple days?
Yeah, more than anything, it's going back to what we preach all the time and making sure we're practicing it. And it's like beating a drum. We want to play with great attitude and effort and follow it up with enthusiasm, especially when things get tough. It's a good practice today because things got tough and they had to ramp it up at the end, and we challenged them, and I was pleased with the way we finished things up. And then getting back to controlling the controllables. We spent a lot of time in the evening meetings with the kids, putting on different examples from the NFL over the last 10 years of good plays, bad plays, poor mistakes, selfish plays. Last night we took a look at selfish penalties, and we went back to a few games over the years where teams lost the game because of a selfish penalty. And then we looked at other situations that could come up in 2-minute situations, when to take a timeout, when to chuck it in the ground and stop the clock. And those are some of the management things that we're trying to really work on, especially while we're working with a couple of young, not necessarily young, but fresh quarterbacks that we're trying to prepare for the game.
Scott, earlier today, ESPN reported that Syracuse is one of 4 or 5 schools that won't announce its decision until the 31st, and it kind of sounded like that's what you said when you answered Dan's question. Is that true? You won't announce the decision until the 31st?
Yeah, no. Why give anybody an advantage? To me, I just didn't understand it. It's just me. I don't know. I mean, if it gives them one more practice play against something that they think one kid can do compared to the other, why give them that advantage? I don't think it makes sense for me. Other people a lot brighter than I am have been coaching a lot longer than I am, so maybe I'll learn my lesson, and years from now I'll announce it as fast as I can. But right now, that's what I believe in my heart.
Nico.
Coaches, you were talking about the quarterback. How are you, by the way?
I'm great, Nico. How's the newlywed?
Oh, we're engaged,
Oh, that's right. You're
We're
engaged.
planning still.
Yeah, my bad.
That's all right, man. Appreciate it, though. When you're talking about the quarterbacks, obviously those guys are just fighting hard for that spot. But what's it like for you as a coach? They're fighting fiercely for that job, at the same time supporting each other and encouraging each other out there, just from our eye on the sidelines.
I love it. It's what sport's all about. It's what college football should be all about. Competing your butt off, but at the end of the day, saying it's not about me, it's about we. All those corny sayings that we all grew up loving. The reason they have stayed around for so long is because they're true. You know what I mean? And you challenge your kids, okay, if you don't get the nod, what are you going to do? How are you going to adjust to the elements? Are you going to pout? Or are you going to be a man and continue to grow as a young man, as a person? That next shot opportunity that you get, you go out there and do it. So to me, these are the lessons that are best learned. I know when I was a sophomore, like Terrell, I was in a similar situation, and it was a fight. It was a fight to the end. But it was a fight that years down the road, I called my old coach, Coach Packard at VW, and we talk and laugh about how frustrated I was. I threw a trash can across the room when I found out I wasn't going to be a starter. You know, what an idiot I was. You know, but what a lesson I learned. We beat SC when I was at Stanford, and Coach Packard sent me a letter, and that was part of what he wrote about. Remember the day you threw the trash can at me, and blah, blah, blah. And those are life lessons, you know. Those are the things you take with you as a coach and as a young player, and you look back on years down the road and you appreciate what the game gave to you and the lessons you learned. So when you go out in the real world, you've been down some hard roads before, and you're you know in a situation to be more prepared for those tough situations. That's what I believe in my heart.
Scott, is there any update on Kyle Knapp, and how has Amari Palmer kind of slid in and taken advantage of that time he's got?
Yeah, Amari's done a good job. You know, he's had good days, he's had bad days, but he's working on trying to get six inches better on every snap. Is what I talk to him about all the time, and he's fighting a good fight. And Kyle's feeling a lot better. You know, he's coming around, and we're looking forward to getting him and all those other kids back on the field. You know, we've had a lot of bumps and bruises and some headaches and some situations like that, but not a lot of major injuries, which I'm pleased, and I'm just knocking on wood that we can finish out this week. And I know you guys like those specifics and stuff. I just like to protect the kids and the team, and that's why we say it's an upper body or a lower body. I just want to protect those kids. You know, I don't want anybody being targeted someday when they go out on the football field.
Is this the week you start tapering contact a little bit?
A little bit. You know, I think the next 2 to 3 days are important. We learn how to practice. And what we're trying to do is mimic a Tuesday and a Wednesday practice situation in season. It's the hardest days of the week, you know, a Tuesday and a Wednesday. And then as we move forward, we'll start getting into mock situations where we're trying to think about everything and anything that could come up. And then we start to taper off to some degree with the contact. You know, we're getting a Tuesday, Wednesday look. We'll get that, and then we're going to start mocking it up on Thursday, Friday.
Steve.
Along the same lines as that question, Coach, that Mike just asked, you know, you're obviously still in the training camp phase of the preseason, but at what point do you turn the page a little bit and start talking Penn State with the players and game planning and whatnot with this team, or do you wait till next week?
Yep, we've already done that. And you know, I think it's a matter of every team's a little bit different. So what I want to do is try to get two. I want to try to get 2 practices for one. You know, instead of a singular Tuesday type practice situation, I want to get 2 of those. I want to get 2 Wednesdays. I want to get a handful of 2-minute situations. You know, so trying to look at it that way.
Coach, going back to that too, with a few days left in camp, how many other positions besides quarterback are you looking at right now? Do you wish you had more time? Is this coming?
You always wish you had more time, and you always wish the game was tomorrow. That's part of the life of a coach. You can't wait for it to get there, and you wish you could start all over again at the same time. So, you know, everybody's going through the same thing. We have position battles, we have depth battles, we have a lot of position battles in the kicking game. We're really trying to amp up our kicking game. You know, we're challenging as many kids as possible to see if they could be 3 core special teams players. And if they are, we're going to treat them like starters. You know, you have offensive starters, you have defensive starters, and you get a guy that can play in 3 core kicking games and be productive. He'll play more than a backup wide receiver or a second tight end. And I think it's important, you know. So we're trying to think outside of the box of some of those things. And the kids, we've got a lot of good battles going on right now. The good thing is we've been stumped in a couple situations with who to start on a punt team, who to start on a cover team, because we think 3 or 4 guys are really close. And, you know, what will end up happening is when we get into the game situation, we'll see who makes plays and who doesn't, because you can't go live in some of those situations. It just wouldn't be prudent.
Time for a few more, David.
Scott, even if you're not going to tell us who the quarterback is there a point where you guys internally want to have a decision made when you're going to tell the players before?
Yeah, but I don't want to tell half-truths. So we're going to do the best we can to put that position together for the 31st.
Steve.
Looking at Marquis coming back this year, what do you see differently on the field and off the field? And how does that kind of contribute to why you think he should be a captain?
He's grown up a lot as a man. He made some mistakes in the past, made some poor decisions in the past, and he learned from them. He rebounded back. Once again, he fought the good fight with controlling the things he can't control. And he really took things over here at the end of the spring, during the spring ball, at the end of the spring, and then during the summer when the coaches, you know, aren't allowed to be coaching. He took that defense, and they damn near practiced on their own 3 days a week. And I was so proud of him. And it was something that a couple of years ago, he didn't want to do. He's like, Coach, I don't feel comfortable being a leader. And now, I think he was 11 guys short of having a unanimous vote. And I haven't been around that too often. So I'm really proud of him. And I'm also proud of Mackey. The legacy continues with the McPherson family. And just so proud of him. Jason Bromley from Jamaica, Queens, came out here. We didn't find out about him until June, I think it was. He came in and ended up playing 4 years for us. And then Jerome Smith, trying to put another 1,000-yard season together. Just a tough, hard-nosed runner that a lot of people told him he wasn't fast enough. His strength's great, his speed's increased. I think those players were all looked at and picked for all the right reasons.
Last question, Michael.
Scott, after the scrimmage at Fort Drum, you said you wanted to go back and look at the tape so you could see who did well along the lines because it's kind of hard to see. Anybody stand out to you along that defensive line after you went back?
Yeah, there were some ups and downs. I didn't feel like we played well enough up front in that scrimmage, to be honest with you. There were a couple flashes here and there. Ron Thompson made a couple flashes, but the consistency level isn't where it needed to be. So that's what we're really harping on as we work forward here into Tuesday's practice.
Thanks, Coach, very much. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for coming.